Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's second video, which will take us to around the 2nd of March. So we're heading into the beginning of the first month of spring 2020 with the week to 10 day time frame. Now, we'll have a look at the GFS and ECM ensembles running to around a couple of weeks, and we'll look at the CFSB2 for March at the end of the video. Talking of March, the JMA Friday update has been released, of course, firstly up today, and that takes us into the second half of March. So it does look as though we could be seeing some hints of higher pressure, although I have to say within the shorter range model output, not much sign of that at the moment. I'll talk you through the charts in a moment, but they do continue to look very, very changeable going at least into the first week of March. There's very little sign of high pressure. And the longer range stuff with JMA CFS is all sort of indicating ridging building through March, but at the moment the shorter range, not that keen on it. So have got a bit of a conflict between the long range and the short range model output. I'll talk you through everything that's going on in a moment. I'm going to start though with the latest situation or with the flooding. Just say if you're enjoying the videos on the channel at the moment, please can you like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing through the comments and give us a thumbs up as well. If you'd like to give a donation through PayPal or become a patron for Gal Service, the links are in the description at YouTube and also on all the pages at Gal Service. That would be absolutely great for anybody who wants to give a donation or become a patron for Gal Service. Right, so I'm going to start off with the flood warnings for England. So gradually over time the situation is improving, but it's a slow old process. We still have 5 severe flood warnings. That's down on the 6 that we had a couple of days ago, but nevertheless still 5 severe flood warnings, which is severe flooding danger to life. They are still at River Lug, at Hampton Bishop, River Severn at New Street up to the Pond Severn, River Severn at Uckinghall, River Severn at Waterside up to the Pond Severn, and the River Wye at Hampton Bishop. So still the areas that had those severe flood warnings a couple of days ago, they've still got them. Just one of those flood warnings has been taken off. Severe flood warnings, I should say. For general flood warnings, that's been reduced as well, now down to 72 flood warnings. Flooding is expected, immediate action is required. That's all of these rivers just here. And then there's 140 flood alerts, which is flooding, be prepared. That's down again on a couple of days ago. So very, very gradually the situation is getting a bit better, but it's a really, really slow old process. I suppose it's just indicative of how very, very saturated and wet the ground is. There's just nowhere for that flood water to go. 58 flood warnings no longer in force, so 58 flood warnings flood alerts have been removed over the past 24 hours. If you think your local river or stream could be affected by these warnings, then do check out this page. It's floodwarninginformationservice.gov.uk/warnings. Last updated 11:37 this morning. If you think your local river or stream could be affected, then come to this page. We link to it in the description at Gal Service and on the links page at galservice.com. We link to it in the description at YouTube, I should say, Gal Service YouTube channel. So come here, have a look at the warnings, see whether your local river is affected and what they are advising you to do. Very gradually things are easing, but as I say, it's a really slow old process. And there's a lot more rain to come. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks for Preston in the northwest of England. Now, this is going to be, this will be a little bit exposed, I suppose, to the Irish Sea, to bands of rain coming off the Irish Sea. But it does look very unsettled, doesn't it? And as I say at the start of the video, at the moment, there's no sign in the shorter range model output, like in the next 2 weeks or so. There's no sign really of any notable area of high pressure, unlike what the longer range stuff is doing. Anyway, dealing with the upper air temperatures first of all. So red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for Preston. Up and down at the moment, so we're still in zonality. We have warmer and cooler and warmer and cooler and warmer sectors alternate with one another. Into next week, it does go a bit colder through the course of next week. We talked about this in yesterday's video. Going to dig the jet stream a little bit further south, but we'll still be bringing in areas of low pressure. It's that track of those low pressures will determine where any rain-snow divide is through next week. But the main thing is that it's still looking quite unsettled, really. And then out through to the end of the first week of March now. That's as far out as we can extend with the GFS ensembles now. Overall, still sort of a bit up and down, perhaps a little bit on the cooler side, if anything. That's a little bit below average as we go in towards the end of the first week of March. But much more notable than temperature is precipitation on this chart. So we just have regular rainfall spikes still from beginning to end, and they have been increased, I think, these rainfall spikes since yesterday, and they do look rather alarming, I have to say. These are this kind of thing we see when we talk about deluge conditions, so big precipitation spikes, really from beginning to end, more of them just there, and another cluster around there. Those are large precipitation spikes, many of them. It does look as though into early March things are going to be staying very, very unsettled now, I'm afraid, and we could be in for more really quite significant wet weather, I'm afraid. So we have been hoping that we might start to get some high pressure going into March, and as we go further on into March, maybe we will, but certainly early March still looks very, very unsettled. This is such an unsettled weather pattern that we're in. It's probably going to take a while to build up high pressure. I think it's not going to be an immediate sort of switch. Sometimes the weather can switch very, very quickly and flick from one thing to another, but I've got a feeling, because of just how powerful the stratospheric polar vortex is at the moment through this winter, and that's kind of like the engine that's driving everything. Because of how powerful that polar vortex is, I think it's going to take a while before we can start to build up some high pressure. I would suspect that March will go towards drier conditions and we will build up some high pressure, but I wouldn't expect it to be immediate, and certainly the first half of March could still be very unsettled, I think, especially so in that first week of the month. We shall see. It may change quicker than I'm anticipating, but at the moment, to me, it looks as though we're really the high pressure is really going to have a struggle on its hands, have a fight on its hands to get an ascendancy and break us out of this unsettled weather. Temperature anomalies from the 21st of February to 29th, last day of the month, are a bit cold on average for the north, a little bit mild on average for the south. There's a definite north-south divide going on there with temperature anomalies. Precipitation anomalies just continue to look unsettled. Most places coming out with above average rainfall. One or two areas like the Midlands, East Anglia nearer normal, but generally that still looks very unsettled really for the precipitation anomaly from the 21st to the 29th of February. That's how the GFS is looking for Monday. We may get a named storm on Monday. This area of low pressure just here could well bring severe gales to northern and western parts of the country. That zips through across northern Scotland by Tuesday. We're into a colder run of northwesterly winds. Then we go into a proper northwesterly for Wednesday, starting to dig the jet stream southwards, indicated by this black line just here. That's digging southwards, placing us on the cold side of the jet. And then more low pressure starts to move in from off the Atlantic through the second half next week, coming into quite cold air. So there's bound to be some heavy rain. With that, probably going to be some snow as well. The exact track of where these low pressures are coming in from will determine where that rain-snow divide is. So if the lows do something a little bit like this and run across the south, then that will bring a snow risk to England and Wales. If the lows do something like that, then that will place much of England and Wales in a warm sector, and it'll be Scotland and maybe Northern Ireland that gets the snow. So that's all to be determined, and that's going to prove a headache for the weekend forecast tomorrow. That's Friday 28th. Then we're into a milder south-westerly. Doesn't last long, though. The low pressure zips through by Saturday 29th, last day of the month. Winds swing back round into the north and into the northwest again. So then we go into a colder northerly for Sunday, the 1st of March, before more low pressure rattles in. Again, the exact track of this low is critical as where any rain-snow divide is. So much of England and Wales here is on the warm side of that low. Just cold rain there. Further north, definite risk of snow for Northern Ireland, particularly for Scotland on the northern side of that area of low pressure. So that's how things look at day 10, which, as I say, is Monday the 2nd of March. Moving out beyond day 10, then the low starts to take even more of a southerly track. So over time, the jet stream is shifting southwards. Now you see the black line is sort of running into the Bay of Biscay. So definitively on the cold side of the jet stream now. More low pressure, though, in the Atlantic. Just keeps coming, doesn't it? This continuous low pressure, and this one becomes a bit of a channel low. So this is much further south. This will bring a snow risk kind of Wales and Midlands, Northern England, that sort of area around the 3rd to the 4th of March. Major area of low pressure sitting off the coast of East Anglia at 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday the 4th of March. We're beyond day 10 now, so we're unreliable. But that's really heavy rain down in the south, probably snow for parts of Wales, the Midlands and Northern England. All of that will have to be determined in terms of the exact soundings, like the upper air temperatures, the dew points and that sort of thing. But it's the idea that it's going colder as we go through to the beginning of March, but still staying very, very unsettled. And then, you've guessed it, more low pressure just comes barreling in from off the Atlantic. So we finish up with this GFS run, which is gets us to Sunday the 8th of March, to the end of the first week of March. There's no sign of a change there, really. Low pressure is still keeps coming. So that will be more rain. The low pressure is a bit further north this time, so it is milder. We will be talking about mostly rain at that point. Very little snow around except over northern hills. But it's just the idea that low pressure continues to drive in from off the Atlantic. It looks like we are trying to build up a little bit of a ridge just there. Towards the middle of the Atlantic, so that may try and have a go at breaking us out of this unsettled weather, but fundamentally it all still looks very similar to what we've had through this winter overall, right way up to the 8th of March. That's how the GM is looking, the Canadian model. Again, Monday, got a major area of low pressure whipping itself up just to the west of us. This is how things look at midnight on Tuesday. Severe gales across Scotland. That could be a named storm early next week. That low pressure then heads over towards Norway. We go back into that colder, showery northwesterly. In comes the next low, running into quite cold air, so probably rain in the south, snow in the north. Exact track of that low is to be determined. More sort of southerly tracking lows to our south and west. There's a risk of heavy rain, but maybe some snow as well mixed in with that. And we get to day 10, and look, we've got a 955 millibar area of low pressure just west of Scotland. We look very unsettled. So yes, further bouts of rain coming in from off the Atlantic there at day 10, which is Monday the 2nd of March, and still reasonably on the cool side as well. The ECM looks like that, so again we've got this major low pressure whipping itself up on Monday into a significant feature. Risk of gale force winds for most parts of the country, severe gales in the north and the northwest Monday through to Tuesday. That low gets over towards Norway and Denmark on Wednesday, and we go into a cold run of showery northwesterly winds. Next low's coming in on Thursday. This one's much further north. This low much further north on Thursday compared to the other model output, so that's got a big warm sector with it. Very little chance of snow there. That's Friday 28th, back into a colder, showery northwesterly again. Then we're into quite a cold northwesterly for Saturday the 29th, last day of the month. There's some sort of trough coming through with that, so that could bring some rain, sleet or snow southwards across the country. And then by day 10, you've guessed it, more low pressure is rolling through. Generally, the ECM has moved these areas of low pressure a little bit further north this morning, and that means that the snow risk is mainly in the north. There, very little chance of snow in the south because you're kept within the warmer sectors with those areas of low pressure. This is the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from tameteo.com. Starting with today, lots of rain up in the north, mainly dry down in the south. Into tonight, that rain comes southwards and sort of peters out as it does so, left with wintry showers in the northwest. And it turns very wet Saturday night into Sunday morning across England and Wales. Really wet start to Sunday across many parts of England and Wales with persistent and heavy rain. That gets through. Then we've got this major low coming in Monday into Tuesday. Heavy rain with that. Could be some snow mixed in with that as well, especially over high ground. The ECM does tend to overdo the snow risk a little bit, but it certainly suggests there could be some snow mixed in with that on Monday, particularly in the morning. Across Scotland, heavy rain in the northwest in particular, and really strong winds as well. You see from the isobars will turn very windy across the whole country, but particularly so in the northwest. That gets out of the way. We're left with a showery, cold northwesterly from Tuesday through to Wednesday. Not going to be long before the next low comes in, though. Here it comes into the second half of next week, bring cold rain to much of England and Wales, snow risk to Scotland and to Northern Ireland. That one zips through. We go back to wintry showers. When's the next low coming in? There's a little bit of a trough sinking southwards there on the 29th. That's Saturday 29th, week tomorrow. That brings a risk of rain, sleet or snow a little bit further southwards there for the last day of the month. In comes the next low on the 1st of March. Again, that brings heavy rain to many of us. Could be some hill snow mixed in. And that's how we look as we get to day 10, which is the 2nd of March. We're back into more of a showery type pattern. As I say, the ECM has moved these low pressures a little bit further northwards, which limits the snow potential. If you want snow across England and Wales, and if you want snow to lowland southern England, those low pressures have got to push southwards. They've got to push further south. And the jet stream got to go southwards as well. We saw from the GM and also to some degree the GFS, there is still that idea of the jet stream shifting southwards. So a lot of problems for next week in terms of the exact details. Certainly going to be very unsettled next week. There will be regular bouts of rain, probably more flooding, unfortunately. And we've got this rain-snow divide as well, which will be determined by the exact track and position of the areas of low pressure. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 2nd of March. We have 25 members of the ECM ensembles with lots of low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic. It includes the control and the operational run. So, I mean, that just continues very, very unsettled weather indeed. 10 with low pressure out to the west, but also to some degree digging down to our south and southeast. Jet streams going a little bit further south with those 10 as well. So that's a slightly colder scenario, but still very unsettled. 9, again, low pressure just driving in from off the Atlantic into the opening days of March. Certainly no quick change to high pressure from that. And then 7, again, low pressure is in the ascendancy to the northwest. It does have a little bit more of a ridge over France, but still even those 7 I think are generally quite unsettled. In 2 weeks time, any signs of high pressure? Well, these are the options that we've got to the 2nd of March. So have 26 members of the ECM ensembles with a deep trough over the top of the country, very unsettled still, even in 2 weeks time to the end of the first week of March. That just keeps the deluge going. 25 members of the ECM ensembles have the trough over Scandinavia and just hinting at trying to raise the heights to our southwest. They're probably quite cool, bring the wind in from a northwesterly direction, but they are trying to build up some sort of a ridge to our south. But how successful that would be, how long any ridge would last, that of course would remain to be seen. So I have to say, even towards the end of the first week of March, it still looks as though things are likely to be very, very unsettled. And then finally, CFS V2. So this is how the CFS is forecasting March today. So this 700 millibar height anomaly, still lots of low pressure going on to the north of the country around Greenland and Iceland. We do have a ridge building up from the south, so it is closer to us with this area of high pressure from the Azores. Probably still influenced from the jet stream, particularly to northern parts of the country. I mean, it's trying to bring in high pressure, but again, that's a very deep area of low pressure. It's a very major, significant polar vortex, what we see there, indicated by those blue colours towards Greenland and Iceland. And again, it's just a question of how successful high pressure would be building up from the south, whether the high pressure manages to push the jet stream and those areas of low pressure far enough away from us for the high to sort of take over. A little bit inconclusive even there, but it does look like it's got more of an anticyclonic influence compared to what we've had through February anyway. Temperature anomalies, of course, with winds still coming up from the southwest, it's milder than average, very cold month indicated for Greenland, as has been for most of winter. Most of America going cold as well, so that's a bit of a change on what we've had through this winter. It is colder in the States, but for us and Europe, it remains very mild. Precipitation anomalies, again, this is just inconclusive, isn't it? So it does look significantly wetter than average through March around Iceland and just up to our northwest. For us in the UK, we have sort of near normal precipitation, but we're not far away from those wetter than average conditions. So it's inconclusive whether we're going to get this build of high pressure, and if we do, how long will it last and how long will it take for us to go into the high pressure. I still think March will probably trend drier and more anticyclonic as it goes along, but I don't think it's going to be an immediate change. And certainly the early part of March is looking unsettled and potentially at times quite cold too. Rain, snow, risk of flooding, all of that kind of thing. Probably more gales going on through the first week to 10 days of March. Any change, I think, will happen later on in the month, probably more towards the second half of the month, but that's sort of outside of the time frame, so that's very speculative. As I say, we should start to see a settling down going on. You would expect, after such a long run of low pressure, that we'll get a change in the pattern. But at the moment, for now, in the reliable time frame, which is the next week to 10 days, I'm afraid it looks like the deluge goes on, unfortunately, and with that will be further risks of flooding. There will be the chance of snow around as well, particularly in the north, maybe not exclusively so. If we can drive one of those areas of low pressure far enough south, that will pull the cold air and the snow risk south with it. But the main story remains one of a very unsettled outlook, even into the first week of March. And any change to high pressure is later on in the month, most likely. Right, that's it for your videos for today. We've got a busy weekend of updates coming up this weekend, so tomorrow we'll start off with the weekend forecast, of course, weekend look ahead that we always do on a Saturday. Problems with that, where we've got this rain and snow divide going on, but it will be a very unsettled weekend forecast too. We're also going to have a week to 10 day video updates as well of all of the usual features. There'll be the CFS versus Beijing Climate Centre's 6-month look ahead tomorrow night. Sunday we'll have the 7th and final batch of spring analogues ahead of the spring forecast. Of course, it's only going to be 1 week away on Sunday. Also, Sunny Gazov Sunny Roundup. We're going to have the E70 Meteo France, the DWD long range model, and probably Ensembles Watch as well. So, going to be loads and loads and loads of updates to watch this weekend. Do keep checking back to GazWeathers.com and also the Gazov's YouTube channel to see all of the output that we're putting up. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you'll be able to know when we have posted these updates, when they're uploaded and gone live. Give us a like on the video. Let us know that you enjoyed the video through the comments, and don't forget, if you'd like to give us a donation through PayPal and or Patreon, become a patron of Gal Service, then it's very easy to do that. A big thank you for everybody for doing that. Right, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.